Hey friends, I'm Jay Miller. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It feels like it's been so long since I've made something for it, but this is going to be used on the GitHub repo. I'm not going to be long on that. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I want to introduce this project that I've been working on called ZJ, um, or Zj. I don't know. Like, I don't have a good name for it. ZJ is what I picked. Um, it's actually based on a project called Sesh. I should link to Sesh in the repo and things. And before we dive too deep into it, I want to let y'all know I have almost 100% prompt engineered, whatever the word is for. Claude has been writing the code, but I've been reviewing the code, so I do have a good understanding of what's happening. But some of the code choices that were made weren't made specifically by me. So what is ZJ? ZJ, if you're not reading this on the GitHub repo, is a session manager and fast switcher for Zellij. Now, Zellij, and I hope I'm saying that right, is the tmux alternative that I use. If we were to use, let's just go into Zellij by default, we would get something like this. And with that, I can unlock and I can create new panes. I can do that. I can't see the little thing is hovering over. Here we go. That's alt new pane. So yeah, I can do like that, create a bunch of new panes. I can manage sessions with the session manager here and go between them. But I was really impressed with what Sesh did, which was kind of flip the session management on its head and make it so that really you could have a session for every project that you were working on directly without having to start with first I create the project, then I unlock it, and then I go into the session, and then I go into the session manager, and then I, you know, change the name of my current session with Control R and call it foo. Like you don't have to do any of that stuff. Instead, what you do, and let me exit out of Zellij. And I'm gonna just make it show there's nothing up my sleeves here. We're gonna do kill all sessions. Yes, and we're going to delete all sessions too. There, so all those are deleted. So now we have nothing in there. And I would just warn you, if you're gonna install this, you might want to do that anyway. Notice that sometimes the old session stuff tends to break ZJ from time to time. But how do you run it? Call ZJ. And what it does is it opens Fuzzy Finder. It gives you a list of things. Now, what are those things? As you can see in purple up here, there is this URL. That is a remote Zellij interface. That is for my home lab, obviously. So I could click on that and go, and we'll do that in a little bit. But the first one, let's just work on my website, right? So that's kjmiller.com. So maybe I don't have kjmiller.com locally. That's on a GitHub repo. And okay, I had it locally. It didn't read it, and that's because the cached list of files hasn't been updated. I need to figure out how to maybe do that or update that over time or update that with GitHub repos. We'll see. Who knows? But anyway, I had it locally. So now I'm in a session. As you can see, the tab up here is kjmiller.com. The session is called kjmiller.com. So I could be doing some work here. Again, I could like run my website, kjmiller.com or whatever. But now I want to go work on Black Python devs. So I could hit ZJ again. I shouldn't have said Black Python devs because I know that Black Python devs is broken. Maybe this won't work. Maybe that one. Here we go. You see now it's cloning it, and it's cloning it into a project path. That project path is set by ZJ. There's a config that you can edit things in. And boom, now we're there. As you can see, the session is Black Python devs now. I can still go in here. I can still go into my session manager, and you can still see that the other session still exists. So I have both, and I could go back to it. I could go back into Black Python devs now. I can just do Black Python devs. It knows that it's there. If I do ZJ now, you'll see that there's a new color up. It's kind of a tealish color, and that is active sessions. So you have your sessions, you have your remote sessions, you have your local files that are based on a project folder that you've set. For me, I just did my home folder. This is a newer machine, so there's not a lot in it. And then from there, you go to the path that you want to go to, and then you have your GitHub stuff. And it's not just my GitHub stuff. If I wanted to, pull down any GitHub repo, I would just start it with GH and then the org and then the repo. But if I want to do the path, I could just do my local path here and find it. Let's go to our skills project. Boom, now we're there. We're in skills, and I can, do some work. Now, one of the things that I recently added was the instructions on how to actually bind a floating window for this. I just think it's a little bit of a nicer experience. Also, you may have noticed when I did the initial one, it added like a new tab on it. That's just because of I've been fiddling and fighting against like the Zellij pain and how to do Zellij things. An easy workaround for that is to just call the command directly within a floating pane and then tell Zellij how you want to interact with that pane. So the way I do that is I use Control Y. That's what I've binded it to. That's what I suggest in the README. Hit Control Y. It immediately opens up in a floating window. I can do all my stuff. I can jump to a window, and then boom, it switches immediately over. And that's kind of nice because then I don't have to think too hard about it. I can just go over. And the idea is ultimately, as you're looking at things, you would switch and you'd want to use your active sessions first. If you pick a session that already exists, it doesn't create a new session. It just goes to that existing session. And as you can see here from the last time we created the last session, that I'm in the same session. So you can select the same files over and over and over again. You can type them out the long way if you want. You can also, as I showed here, just do ZJ and then let's just do ZJ. And then it'll take you to the path directly. It won't give you the prompt. But that's it. I don't have many more features. I kind of just have some quality of life fixes, and then I want to collect my thoughts around this and see if there's anything that I can add, or that I can maybe convince the Zellij team to develop towards. I would love to see stuff like this exist. I have a few other plugins and things that I'm working on. I have not tested them with any of my other plugins. Again, I want to make sure that I have a good grasp on what's happening. But if you like this, let me know. If you want to try it, I'll have a link to the GitHub repo in the show notes. There's an install script. You can go and you can just install it directly there. Just clone the repo, hit install, and go. Some of the things that I didn't mention that I have that are they're not Easter eggs. I just don't have a great way of like explaining them all too well. Is if you do ZJ and you go, oh, I hit the wrong button. If you hit ZJ, there we go, and you go into your remote session, this time it directly logged me in, and that's because I have my Zellij token cached. That's cached using age, and it's using Fort Knox, which is the same person that made Mies. And I will probably do a different video on that, just because it's an optional thing. Otherwise, you'll get prompted for your Zellij web token that you'll have to provide each time. It's just easier to have it cached in an age file. That way it's encrypted. But that's going to do it. I've been yapping. Let me know what you think of this project. If you find bugs or any wild issues, please submit an issue. But also note that right now I'm kind of just Claude coding this, and it kind of just does all the things that I need it to do. I hope to keep working on it, but I don't know to what extent I'll be able to provide more insight than what Claude is going to suggest. So maybe use Claude to write the issue as well. All right, that's it for me. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. See ya.